When charm turns dangerous, are you in a relationship with a malignant narcissist? At first, they don't feel dangerous. They feel powerful, charismatic, confident, protective. You may have felt chosen, singled out, as though you were finally seen by someone who knew exactly who they were and exactly what they wanted. And then slowly, something shifted. The warmth cooled. The rules changed. You began walking on eggshells without knowing why. This is not a story about ego or arrogance. This is a story about a destructive personality pattern that hides behind charm and authority, one that psychology calls the malignant narcissist. My name is Fawzia Faizi Shah, licensed clinical social worker. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's get started. We're going to talk about the malignant narcissist. Malignant narcissism is not a formal DSM diagnosis, but a clinically recognized construct that described by psychoanalyst Erich Fromm and later explained and expanded by Otto Kernberg. It represents a severe and dangerous configuration of traits combining narcissistic grandiosity, antisocial features, paranoia, sadistic tendencies, character assassination, triangles, seek pleasure by inflicting pain on others, antisocial traits, fears of being exposed, high anxiety in relationships. This combination is uniquely harmful because the individual doesn't just need admiration, they need control, dominance, and emotional submission. The problem is this, that many people stay in these relationships far longer than they should because the abuse does not begin as abuse. It begins as intensity, idealization, and psychological bonding. If the parent is a malignant narcissist, then the abuse begins very early on. And one child is chosen to carry the projections of the malignant narcissist parent. So let's talk about how malignant narcissist typically shows up in intimate relationships. First of all, idealization with power. Early on, the malignant narcissist presents an exceptional, morally superior, intellectually dominant, or socially influential. They may frame themselves as a victim of others' incompetence, a misunderstood genius, the only one who tells it like it is. You are drawn in not just emotionally, but psychologically through admiration and fear of losing their approval. Number 2, devaluation through control. Once attachment forms, the tone changes. Criticism becomes sharp and personal. Boundaries are punished. Disagreement is reframed as betrayal or stupidity. Unlike other narcissistic subtypes, malignant narcissists often displays deliberate cruelty, enjoyment of humiliation, threat-based compliance. Research links these behaviors to sadistic traits, meaning the harm is not accidental. It can be reinforcing for them because of Kernberg 1984 research. Number 3, paranoia and projection. Malignant narcissists frequently accuse others of disloyalty, hidden motives, sabotage, the problem child for sympathy from others, playing the victim. In reality, these accusations often reflect projection and defense mechanisms where they disown their own hostility or deceit by assigning it to others. You may find yourself constantly defending your intentions, even when you've done nothing wrong. Number 4, fear-based bonding. Over time, the relationship becomes organized around fear rather than connection. You may notice that you are being hypervigilant, emotional numbing, loss of trust in your own self, and chronic anxiety or shame. This is not weakness. This is a trauma response. Most people that grow up in homes with malignant narcissists suffer from complex PTSD. Neuroscience research shows that intermittent reinforcement cycles of reward and punishment creates powerful attachment bonds similar to those seen in coercive control and trauma bonding. Dutton and Painter showed that in their research in 1993. If you're asking yourself, is this me? That question itself matters. Awareness is not about labeling someone. It's about protecting your psychological safety. Here's what conscious actions look like. Begin observing the patterns, not the promises. Seek therapy or support. Rebuild boundaries slowly and deliberately. Educate yourself on coercive control and personality pathology. You're not too sensitive. You're responding normally to an abnormal relational environment. Healthy love does not require fear. Respect does not demand silence. And no one has the right to erode your sense of self in the name of power. Awareness is the first act of freedom. I hope you liked my video, and if you did, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and please leave a note for me as to what it was like to have been raised by a malignant narcissistic parent or a malignant narcissist supervisor or a friend or a life partner. And did you ever get out of that relationship? Did you become aware of what was happening? And how did you heal from that? I would love to hear from you on this topic. Thank you so much and have a great day.